This is RTP. This is RTP180.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. My talk today is about water, as he said. It's very difficult to talk just for 6 minutes for the things you have done for the last 25, 26 years. So I will be brief. Water is not only life, but also it's a backbone of our economy. You have heard already water is life. If you just see yourself, it's part of our body. It composes 75% of our brain. It helps the brain to function very well. And also it regulates the temperature. And above all, also, it carries nutrients to all your body. So you really need water within your body. And it helps also even not just transporting, even also absorption of the nutrients for your body. So water is really life. If you go to your house again, just pass from your personal living to your house, water is again, it's part of day-to-day activity. It cleans our waste. Like I said, it's not just cleaning again, it transports that waste also from the house to the storm ditches and also to rivers and other water bodies. You use water for laundry, for food preparation. So water is really part of our daily life. Sometimes we forgot, Next to air, if we don't have water, we can't even, if there was no water supply in this building, we couldn't meet here today because nobody can go to the bathroom, you can't drink beer, so it won't be live. So you go from your house, you go outside, so the economy is based on water again. We have large irrigations, that's why we have surplus food for everybody, especially in Western countries. Our industries run with water. Even digital world, sometimes we think that we can just go to the internet, we don't need water, right? But the semiconductors that are produced in large companies and factories, some of the companies really consumes water more than small cities. So even digital world, we need water for that. And we use transport, still we use an ocean or big canals, there are big transportation here, hydropower generation. And also with water, you can create new opportunities. We all know about California, how Southern California was really come to existence by diverting Colorado River. 50 to 60% of South California water is coming from Colorado. So you generate a new economy just by diverting water to some areas. And a very good example that I have seen recently, I mean, you know about this, but I got a chance to visit Panama. And in Panama, what they have done several years ago is to use fresh water from land, put a reservoir, and connect two big oceans. By just connecting these two big oceans, then you really shorten the distance to go from New York to San Francisco, the distance of 3,000 into only 51 miles. This really created a new economy in that country. And currently, there are actually about 13,000 ships per year passing through this canal. And that country has an economy of about $2 billion created just by using fresh water, okay? So it's really, water is part of our huge economy. And there are some emerging problems on water. The first one is that the settlers, when human beings settled close to water, they have purposes. They either created a big storage, like lakes, Jordan Lake and others, so that people can live around that, or they were close to big rivers or oceans so that they can get water, they can transport materials. But nowadays, in some countries, there is a mismatch of population and location of the water, the availability of water. For example, in Africa and most pronouncedly in China is that a lot of people have immigrated to cities, but they didn't bring their watershed or their catchments to the cities. So you have to really bring water for those people from far away, otherwise you'd have a problem of water supply for even domestic water use. So the other threats we have is water quality. Because we don't treat our wastes, we are reducing the amount of fresh water available downstream. So that's a big threat that's existing in the world. What do we do in RTI, Center for Water Resources? We first study to know our resources. In many countries, we go and quantify using scientific tools the amount of water available for a basin or a catchment or even a country. We have done that in USA and Latin American and Caribbean countries, in Africa and others. We also know the uncertainty of that. That means depending on the climate change and land use change, we will know what would be the uncertainty of the water in current and future. And also, we will do the water balance of that. And depending on our adaptation methodology, we could now work on methods to reduce our uses or explore other resources. We have done these kind of studies in several countries in Latin America recently, in Ecuador, Colombia, Guatemala, Brazil, Argentina, and Peru to quantify the water availability for domestic and also irrigation uses. What I would like to show you at the end is just to look at the final goal of our studies mostly are to give for decision maker kind of matrices. That matrix, for example, shows that for current use of water, you could have, depending on the climate change possibilities, you could have unmet demands or reduced demands. For example, in this case, a reference of 34.3 million meter cube. But if you do several adaptations, improving urban water efficiency, irrigation efficiency, and others, you could really reduce that to really nothing of unmet demands. Even further, if you go to the future, you can reduce future unmet demands if you do that effective adaptation for water uses. So lastly, I would say that improved efficiency can really take care of impacts of climate change and land use change in the future. Thank you for listening to me.